Welcome back, folks, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Real Talk Fishing with No Limits. Today, we're going to have a good friend of mine on who's been on before, Mr. Joel Nelson. He's with OnX Fishing. So OnX app has been around for years on the hunting side of things. I'm a big fan of it, been using it. It is a lifesaver and a game changer. Now OnX Fish is bringing in the mapping on the rivers or lakes or reservoirs, you name it. They got it down. Joel's going to break that down for us, tell us a little bit about the app and its features. And I'm telling you, I've got this thing downloaded, just started kind of playing with it. It is very, very cool and very handy tool. Trust me, you're going to want to get it. Check it out at OnX Fish app. We'll have Joel tell us where we can find that and how to get into it and all the cool features that come with it. So stay tuned and learn a little bit more about OnX Fish from Mr. Joel Nelson. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Real Talk Fishing with No Limits. Today, we're talking to a good friend. He's been on here before. He's the man of many hats, and today he's going to wear his OnX Fish hat, Mr. Joel Nelson. What's happening over there, Joel?
Oh man, I'm looking out the window and it looks like it wants to be cold, but I looked at the forecast and it's getting colder. It's coming.
It's coming. Hold tight. I mean, it's here in some places. You're in Minnesota. You're going to be ice fishing before most of us, and you love that stuff. I know you do.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, first ice is already upon us, but like the next push is obviously getting onto some of the bigger waters and doing it bigger, better, badder, pulling out wheelhouses, the whole 9 yards. So excited to do that.
But do you have time to go anymore?
No, I really don't. We talk about fishing a lot, and I am lucky that I do get to fish kind of for work. I mean, it's marketing purposes, the gig, which keeps me out there. But man, there was a time, I think you could probably recall too, in our 20s, maybe even 30s, where you'd sleep at boat landings and do all the really wild stuff, and it'd be like 4 or 5 days a week. You'd just be constantly doing it. So. But wait a second, you guide, so you fish all the time, right?
I get to fish. I get to at least go in the boat every day. I don't know so much that I'm fishing or not, but it's close enough. Oh, I am not stuck behind this computer or an office very often.
I like
the windshield and the God's creations are my office, and it's the best place to be. So,
100%.
It does come with its perks, but it doesn't have some of the benefits that some of these other jobs have either. So
yeah, I hear you.
We're talking OnX Fishing, the app. I've been an OnX Hunt Guy app for several years, and that thing has been a lifesaver for especially a guy like me that hunts strictly public land.
Yeah. Yep.
And you go out western South Dakota, you got school, state school grounds, you got BLM stuff, trying to know where the hell I am.
Yeah.
Walking, the fence line or the property line. And I've used it plenty of times where I've got the rancher or somebody's on the road watching, and I'm just like, I'm good, baby. I'm not worried about it. And maybe I saw something, I parked the truck and I went up in the beaten path, and the wife stayed behind, and a guy will pull up behind her and just kind of watch it. I'm like, this is good. It's on the map. I trust it 100%.
Yes, sir. Yes.
It is definitely a tool. I mean, making my waypoints. Oh, I was out pheasant hunting the other day. Boom, we saw, put the bird icon in there, write down what I saw, whether it's just a bunch of hens or roosters. I knew a guy that used to use it to mark his asparagus in the ditches that he would find. He made waypoints on it, and then he went back, asparagus hunting all the time. Handy as hell. And now you brought it to the fishing world.
Yeah, it's totally wild. It's interesting. Everybody has a feeling for what OnX Hunt does, but maybe when they hop into OnX Fish, they're like, well, it's not exactly the same. There are a lot of similarities. So from the map perspective, we do have public-private land, especially near water bodies, which is really important because whether you're talking about South Dakota for you guys, Minnesota, like being able to access legally, it's a thing, right? For ice anglers, getting on slough lakes, all that is important. But on top of it, I would say the main difference between OnX Fish and OnX Hunt is OnX Fish focuses really, really heavily on a lot of the data behind the scenes. Now, Hunt has all kinds of layers, rough grouse management zones, walk-in areas. Like there's a ton of information built into the Hunt app. But with the Fish app, we're asking anglers to look at not just the map, but all the data that's tied to the lakes behind the map. So it's a little bit different in that regard. If you are looking only for contours, this isn't really the app for you potentially. We've got 5 and 10-foot contours, even some better contours in some places. There are companies that focus just on HD contours and bathymetry. We're focused on, first, planning where you want to fish. What lake do you want to target? Secondly, how to get to the lake with confidence, knowing that you're accessing it publicly, right? Getting on the right place, the right time, all that good stuff. And then once you're on the water, we provide a number of tools that kind of help you, especially if you've never been to some of these lakes, just give you a head start, right? I think the goal is 10 years of information in 10 minutes. That's really what we want to give you. So that's what we're on our way to doing with OnX Fishing.
Yeah, I just scrolled through a little bit ago, and you touched the private land stuff, huge in South Dakota with all these meandering waters. First thing I noticed, I go up to the northeast part, the glacial lakes.
Yeah.
I can see, and they're not even zoomed in, but I'm like, boat ramp. I can see all the boat ramps.
Yeah.
So I'm like, because these lakes aren't easy to find,
right.
Many times. Because you heard her say dry lake. Well, there's several dry lakes. Which one are we talking about? Goose Lake, Horseshoe Lake. Yeah, there's multiple lakes with the same name, Twin Lake. There's like 10 Twin Lakes probably. But I asked somebody like, which one are you talking about? But all right, well, that some of them don't have ramps or are inaccessible, some aren't, right? You can see it, but then from the ice aspect of it is, how do I get on these bodies of water?
Right.
And having that private, because this has all changed in the last several years in South Dakota, where the access point is and can I access or whatever. That's pretty huge. You would use the same in OnX Hunt, finding certain grounds, but really I have to zoom out and go, how am I getting there?
Right.
Just there's a nice area, but in some of it, we have a lot of landlocked, stuff that's surrounded by, private. I see a ton of it, and South Dakota's trying to open all that up. I'm like, this is great, but there's no way to get in. And then obviously in some places you can walk the property lines, you can, corner cross, fence hop, whatever the case may be, but know your state rules, people.
Well, and Brian, you're a talented angler, and because you fish so many different bodies of water in your life that sometimes changing lakes can make all the difference. And obviously finding where to access is important, but if we rewind and think about, okay, like near the dry lakes area or that glacial lakes area of South Dakota, there are hundreds of lakes to choose from. And you could throw a dart at a map and probably find success of some kind near those areas. But wouldn't it be nicer to be able to sort? So OnX Fish allows you to check, I want to look for crappies. I want to look for perch. And then you can select, do I want to look for trophy perch? Or do I want to look for keeper perch? Or do I want to look for perch that they're booming in the lake? They're really highly abundant. Or do I want to look for walleye lakes where the DNR spends a lot of time stocking them, right? These are lakes that they've spent just a ton in fry, fingerling, adult-sized fish to make sure that the population is always high and mighty there. So you can select lakes before you even figure out what access you want to go to. You could pick the lake you want to fish based on the best information for survey. That's a huge deal in Minnesota. We're really happy to bring it to South Dakota, North Dakota, all these other states that we're in, because it can really change your success for the better.
Totally. I mean, right now, pre OnX Fish is you're Googling that DNR or that GFP and want to see the gillnet reports and go, okay, where am I going? Whatever. And the good thing about the glacial lakes is, for the guides, I don't guide up there, but friends that do are like, it's awesome because if the bite's not good here, I just go here. And everything's just a mile or two, down the road. But yeah, you're out of state or you're coming in. Well, I heard this bite was great. Well, you can look and realize, oh, that bite might not be lasting very long because the numbers aren't very good, even though they're on them, but there's this lake over here that looks like it's got some pretty high potential, possibly less crowded because somebody doesn't have this app and didn't do any research. Right. And that's definitely where I want to go. I mean, saving time is huge.
Well, and we're looking at it from the perspective that every angler has a slightly different goal in mind, and you can kind of customize. If you're a big walleye guy and you're only looking for bigs, well, select the lakes that meet those criteria. Yeah. If you care nothing but maybe trying to catch a 10-inch bluegill, you can select that in the app too, right? So that's the first step. And then, like we talked about, finding new lakes and then getting on them with confidence. Find yourself the public access, or maybe even a sneaky way where a public road right-of-way touches, or there's a WMA or some other way to get on that lake in a way that other anglers aren't getting to. And then once you're on the lake, there's a number of lakes called fishing hotspots lakes where, let's say, Bitter, Dry, the real big ones. If you've never been to those bodies of water before, there's dots all over that map.
Yeah.
Start clicking on them, and it's like, this is a perennial favorite for ice fishing for crappies, for example. And it gives you a little bit about the presentation, what works, what times of year, what it looks like. So, yeah, it's an asset for those people that are traveling to fish, or to people that live nearby that have always wondered, what's in that lake? Should I fish it? I drive past it all the time. I don't know if it's worth a darn,
Yeah, and there's a ton of those around here. So I look at some of them, I'm like, well, it's not very big, but then I hear about it, or then I look into them, like, oh no, it's not big, but it's full of trophy walleye or trophy bluegill. I'm like, it's a catch and release only, or like a twin lake outside, not too far from Sioux Falls, trophy walleye lake. You can keep one walleye over 28. That's it. You can't keep nothing else. As far as walleye, they can keep perch there maybe, but it's a phenomenal fishery. It's not very big at all. I can go there with a live scope and spin around in 10 minutes, and I got it covered, and I can catch 20+ inch walleyes left and right.
And for you guys, obviously the flooding is a big deal. When when enough flooding comes in the spring, it connects bodies of water. Now we got fish transferring back and forth. We have recent satellite imagery that drops every week to 2 weeks. So not only can you track ice up, but in the springtime, you'll be able to see those water bodies that are connected, and then start to think ahead and be like, well, in a couple of years or another year or next fall, I need to get in here because this little slough just had enemy swim dumping into it, for the good portion of the spring. So
yeah, I've seen that happen at Lake Albert and Ponset are close, and there's a little culvert that connects them, and I never even knew nothing about it, but fished over here, and one day it was like a little tournament, and they said, let's all go over here. You can fish here as long as you want, but then we're going to finish over on this lake. So you pulled out and you went over here, like, well, these fish are huge over here. And I was like, what the hell? And it's literally all the big fish went over there. And that was it. They were all big perch and big walleye. I'm like, well, this is way better. Why didn't we start here? Especially for a tournament when you're looking at big fish. So they're like, it's not always like that, right? The water goes up and down, and they fly out to the other lake. So,
and once you get used to looking at fishing apps as more than just the contours, you start to realize all the extra things that this thing can do for you. The weather function that we have inside of there, Brian, I'm sure you've used the weather function inside of OnX Hunt. We're not just talking about barometric pressure. It's barometric pressure hourly forecasts for what's coming up, to maybe time a bite window, something that's going on. It's going to be hot in a certain amount after it falls off the edge of the cliff. It also has moon phases, plus the majors and minors. And, it's not just for muskies anymore. Some of those majors and minor times, especially for trophy fish, like there's a lot of research that points towards not just moon phase being an effective predictor of quality fish being caught, but specific times because of moonrise or moonset that you can target. It's not just for muskies anymore, we'll say, because we've just been seeing it work for big smallies, big walleyes, even trophy panfish. So if you're the kind of angler that's really serious and you want to get in the nuts and bolts of this stuff,
whatever your skill or experience level is as an angler, you deserve a fishing reel that contributes to your success and satisfaction on the water and never detracts from it. From the makers of St. Croix rods, 7 Reels, spelled Seviin, is born of 7 decades of design and manufacturing expertise, industry-leading angler support, and the American family ownership dating back to 1977. 7 Reels are designed and crafted for high performance and unrelenting reliability. Verified at least 16 different ways by extreme torture testing at 7's one-of-a-kind Park Falls, Wisconsin laboratory. 7 Reels are also proven on the water by the most demanding professional guides and tournament anglers. So by the time a 7 reaches your hands, it's ready for anything you throw at it. Guaranteed by the best and easiest warranty in the industry. Disappointment happens, but there should never come as a result of your reel. 7 Reels are tested, proven, and guaranteed to be the most reliable on the planet. Check out the entire lineup at 7reels.com.
There's a lot more than meets the eye, a lot more than just contours in the app that we feel is going to help make you a better angler.
Yeah, I'm a huge moon phase guy, so I look at it every day.
Preaching to the choir.
And I'll tell it, if I'm guiding, it's like, I'll just hang in there at 2:00. Things are going to happen. And some days early spring, it may not matter as much. I just need a few nice days hit the once the water warms up, they get going. But kind of summertime, even in the fall, it's like, this is it. And it's like you just flipped a switch. And they're like, wow. I'm like, yeah, it's called the moon or the full moon. People are like, oh, it's great. I'm like, great if you're fishing at night. I'm like, I hate full moons until noon the next day. When it gets, as soon as it gets underfoot, I'm like, they'll turn on. And it's just, it blows people's mind. Oh, how did you know that? I'm like, well, there's these apps and things, and full moon, obviously I can see it, but it's called majors and minors. And Randy and I are very religious to this when it comes to tournament fishing, is that you'll have your spots and your whole game plan looked at, but we also keep track of it all week long. You know, like, oh yeah, man, or some days you're not paying attention and you went on kind of a rally, then I'll go look and be like, that's because it's the major.
Yeah, for sure.
No wonder, you know.
Yes.
And it's like, what time's the major on tournament day? Okay, well, this is my really good spot. And I'm always like, we have to be on that best spot during those 2-hour window typically. I'm like, because it may be the only bite you get all day.
Right. And it matters. Yeah, because those are the big time, right? I mean, like, Fisherman did just they just looked at their Master Angler award winners over the past pile of years, and they were like, huh, interesting. You know, a huge percentage of them came 3 days either side of a new moon or a full moon. And on top of it, the time that they were caught were closest to the majors and minors. So it's not just wives' tales or hearsay at this point.
No, it is definitely not. So where are you getting all this information? Where's all this coming from? Hotspots, what to use? I mean,
oh yeah,
are you calling every guide at every lake or what?
Well, fishing hotspots, those data have been around for quite a while.
That's been around.
But yeah, we are sourcing it from a pile of places. We've got, obviously, the weather stuff is kind of proprietary. We've got enough of a presence in Hunt that we're able to not just give you Sioux Falls weather for the glacial lakes. We're giving you weather for this specific point that you're looking at. It's interpolated from a lot of neighboring data stations. And so, you know, depending on the source, we're trying to simply give anglers a one-stop shop. Now, these may be data that they can get for free. And in the case of, like you said, South Dakota Game and Parks, yeah, you can hunt through their data sets and look through PDF files and find some of the same statistics on catch per unit effort for walleye. But we're trying to organize it for anglers so it's all in one place and they never have to visit anywhere else to do it. A key example is Minnesota. It's the same as South Dakota. If there's any special fishing regulations for the lake, you literally click on the lake and it tells you the slot limit. Or it tells you, hey, it's a 5-fish daily limit for sunfish, for example. And, you know, it used to be you're just like paging through you're trying to download a PDF and, okay, this is dry lake, A, B, C, D. You're scrolling through hundreds of lakes, and it's just like, what a mess. So we're just trying to make things that are already publicly available in a lot of senses into a one-stop shop. And at $35 a year, we feel like it's a pretty good value at that point.
Yeah, that's a very good value. I think I pay $100 right for the Hunt one.
Yeah,
and it's on auto renew. I mean, I don't bat an eye at it. I'm like, it's a no brainer. It just sent me it just renewed the first part of November or something. I think it's a reminder. Hey, this is coming up. I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah.
You know, because if I don't renew it, I'll go out there and be like, crap, you know, and then I'm going to have to do it because I only hunt public land. So I got to know right where it's at, and it saves all my stuff. And a 35 a year for the fish thing is phenomenal. And it's just, it's fairly new. It's grown. You're adding new states, new lakes. I think you just added Iowa not very long ago or recently. South Dakota's been on it pretty soon or within the last month or so.
Yep.
Going to be huge for the ice anglers, of course, which perfect timing. Got that in before ice season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the river's always tricky to navigate because nobody really has it mapped.
Sure. Yep.
You know, it's exactly, it moves. It's massive. For the most part, you don't have to worry about running into stuff unless you fish on the lower part of Lewis, where I am, or Lewis Clark Lake, where you got 30 miles of a delta, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I just tell people that'll never be the best way to map it is get out there and put on your auto chart live and drive upstream.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about as good as it's going to get because it changes way too much. I mean, even the satellite every couple of weeks is probably fine, but you're going to need 4 or 5 shots a year, you know, and then it's like, well, where'd that island go? Well, they released a lot of water today, so it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and
totally wild.
You know, maybe you can still get through it a little bit, kind of like the the Gulf down in Louisiana. That area is a little bit like that, but barometric pressure, I follow that about as much as close as I do the moon phase stuff.
Yeah.
There used to be a really good app I used. It had weather, Scout Look. It's no longer there. I think somebody else bought it. But it took, instead of just taking airport weather, it had a different system where it brought it right in. And I could punch in the lake I'm on, or it would give me, all right, current location. And I'd watch it by the hour, and kind of like the moon. I'm like, here we go. We get below that 29.96, whatever, right?
Yep.
The bear. I want low pressure. I'm going to switch to cranking and get most baits up and get moving, faster, or whatever the case is. I mean, that was always huge too. And then when is the barometer going to change? It's been low pressure for 3 days. I don't want low pressure no more. I want something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And being able to see that stuff. Totally. I always tell people, if you only got a couple hours to fish in a day, fish during the majors, if there is one.
Yes, 100%.
It's that simple.
Right.
Download these apps, find the major fish time. That's when you want to go.
Stack your out, right? 100%.
Yeah, no matter where you're going.
For ice anglers too, we've also got another function that's going to be pretty useful. I mean, no ice is safe. We know that, but always you feel a little more confident stepping out in sunlight and putting down a safe track, right? And so there's that tracker feature, which you've probably used on the hunt side. I guarantee you have. You turn on tracker, it puts down a breadcrumb trail or wherever you go. And for ice, that's really important, because who hasn't ice fished? And all of a sudden it's dark. Ah, crap. Now the wind's coming up. It's blowing snow everywhere. I can't really see where I'm going. Well, you've just laid down that breadcrumb trail you can trace straight back to the landing, and just have much more peace of mind that you're not going to, get too close to a current area or up against some timber that might be holding some heat that weakens the ice. And so, yeah, I've been in enough rough or potentially treacherous situations on ice where it's like, yep, this is not just a safety thing, but you just grind it into your routine. It just makes life easier and better for you.
Yeah, just you can't have enough safety features when it comes to ice.
Yeah, because ice is spooky the way it is, right?
We see it every year. Someone's falling through a shack, a truck, walking, whatever. I mean, how you're a hardcore ice guy, but you're not an idiot like some of these South Dakota guys that can't wait for that first ice. And it's like 4 inches before this guy's getting even close to it. But some of them guys are on that in 2 or 3, and they're, granted, a lot of those fish are shallow, so you're not getting too deep, but falling through ice sucks. I've fallen through it plenty in my trapping days and getting my waders full of water. That is no fun.
Oh, it's horrible. And then, the thing everybody tells me, it's like, oh, I got 4 inches of ice. And it's like, well, sure, where you walked. What about where you didn't walk? Is it 3 over there, or 2 or 1.5? But, it's like, well, people hit the lottery all the time when it comes to walking on the ice. I remember a year, 2 or 3 years ago, there was a bubble hole that just showed up about half a mile off of a landing in a big public body of water up by me here. And it's like, people have been driving by it for a month and never saw it. They didn't even know it was open, and it's just a little tiny bubble hole, but it's only an inch of ice right around the edge. And boy, you put
I've seen those. Buddy Neil Jensen, took me out once, and we're driving on the ice in his truck. Neil's gone through a few times in his truck on the Missouri River way back in his guide days. We're on, I think it's Long Lake, but there's a spring on this whole further upper end, and it's a pretty big one. But I would have no clue that's there. And he got fairly close, but he's like, oh, we ain't getting no closer. I'm like, hey, man. He's like, yeah, that's a spring, and it's open. There's open water there. And it's cold. I mean, there's good thick ice, but he's like that. But that comes, way out over here, and the open spot isn't very big. Like if you didn't know it, you could have easily, if there was a lot of snow on it, walked right into it, walked right over it.
Yeah.
Well, having that trail is important.
100%. Yeah, and we're just, we are a map-based company, and that's a really important part of what we do. So the trails, the tracker functions, seeing where snowmobile trails set up, understanding with the aerial imagery, like other ways, creative ways to get in, doing some map interpretation is so fun to do. You can get lost in a rabbit hole, but again, we just can't overscore enough for fish how much we think the fisheries data really gives you an upper hand as an angler, because I can't tell you how many times I am either doing a presentation or over the years, all the seminars, you do them too, the deal. People come up to you and they're like, how do I catch more walleyes And then you start asking them a couple questions. Well, where do you fish? And how do you,
No.
and the answer I always get is like, well, we got a cabin up on such and such lake. And you find out that such and such lake has hardly any walleyes in it. And it's like, man, you're not catching walleyes because they don't live there.
Right.
And so this is really the cheat code to the reverse of that. Let's go where the walleyes are, and then maybe we'll catch more.
Let's open up our OnX Fish and go, there's where you are, but here's a lake 2 miles away.
Exactly.
I mean, so someone's never used this. They download it, they open it up.
Yeah.
You got master classes. We'll get into that in a second, which is probably, I mean, we'll just do one right here in a sense.
Yeah.
What do they do? How do they use it? What are they looking for to like, okay, I got it. Now what? You know, they're going to go to their lake. They're going to look and see, does it have contours? Okay, it's been mapped. They scroll up. Now they're like, okay, now what?
Well, I'll take them through it, and I'll start at the beginning, which is really, you know, we apologize, but we don't have an Android version yet, and we're working on it, which is frustrating because, like, Android is a big part. I own an Android phone, right? So it's, they're leaving me in the dark, even though I'm the guy for the company, right? But iOS is what
it. Joel, get an iPhone. Get with it.
Working at it. iOS is what's currently available now. If you're an Android person like me, you can still use it on the web. You can still use it on your phone. It's not optimized, though, for your phone like an app would be. You can still use it on a tablet. So there's ways to utilize it. But you start at the App Store for an iOS. You download the sucker. First and foremost, you got a 7-day trial. It's free. Break it. Don't be afraid of it. Literally get in there and start scrolling around, panning around the maps, and everything is clickable. That's the first thing to remember. Everything is clickable. You click on a lake, you're going to get information on the lake. And you're going to get species information. Then click on the species card. And inside the species card, you're going to see a distribution of a graph of how the population range looks. Scroll up and down, check out within the species cards certain things. Some of those items are clickable. So I would encourage you not to be afraid of clicking around. You can always click back on the open map frame, zoom way out again, get to a safe place, figure out, okay, I'm just going to start moving around the map again. And then you'll start to see lots of different things all around the edges of the app. On the bottom left-hand corner, Lake Finder. That's just a real quick, hey, here's some suggestions of lakes to try for the area you were zoomed in on. There's offline maps that you can download if you're in a bad service area. You can long press and create a waypoint in any places. Again, I think the key is to like not being afraid of it. Click around. Worst case scenario, you can always close out the app and restart it, right? And give you a refresh on the screen. Don't be afraid to break it. And you've got a 7-day trial for free to see whether you like it or not. And if you really run into a brick wall, well, that's where our master classes come in.
Yeah, so I see those. I get the emails. I tune into a little bit of one, but you have a lot of them.
We do.
And I assume that you're doing most of these and some other staff is doing these things. Correct. I know during ICAST you had to take off to go do one. What do these consist of for everybody? And it's not just how to use the app. I mean, it's everything.
It's everything. We really want to make people better anglers. I mean, it's a little bit shameless to just sit here and plug a product that we think is going to help make us money. I don't think that's what I, as an angler, want. I actually want to be a better fisherman, right? I don't just want to buy more things. And so to be a better fisherman, I want more information. And Masterclass is a 1-hour segment that you can join in. There's a Q&A session where people can ask whatever questions they want. Customer service representatives are literally answering the questions. If they can't answer it, it comes back to the panel, to a guy like me to take my best stab at it. And then along the way, I'm going to give them not just the 10-cent tour, but hopefully the full $1 tour about everything that this thing can do, not just in the app, but how it helps you be better on the lake, on the water. And that's, to us, really the key. That's why if you go to our YouTube channel, it's literally youtube.com/@OnXFish, and you will find past masterclasses. We had Sam Sobey talking to us about how he uses it to break down backwater bass fishing locations using recent imagery. We've got an ice fishing one where I'm looking at, here's how I look through 3 years of ice up information to figure out what lakes have historically locked up first in the area to give you, hey, maybe these are shallower lakes. They're smaller. They lock up first. Maybe try to consider hitting these first on your run if you're one of those ice crazies. So, yeah, we really want to tap into more than just what's in the app, but help you to use that information to be super tactical about how you fish.
That's a lot. And those are monthly. I mean, you have like 1 or 2 of those a month, it seems like almost.
Exactly. We've got 1 a month minimum, and there's just so much to cover and so much to know. And the more that we do these things, yes, the better we get at it. But the more we realize, like, even we are not fully realizing all of the ways in this thing could be used. We get people that log it all the time, and they have some wacky way of using recent imagery, especially, is a big one. It's like when those bass guys started talking about tracking, okay, now I can look at emergent weed growth, and I can see whether I'm looking at lily pads, whether it's just general slop, nondescript stuff, whether it's bulrushes. Some of them are looking at laydowns along a bank, and they're like, well, I could fish this bank because it's got like 30 or 40 laydowns I can see, or I could fish this clean bank over here. It looks like it's got more weed growth, and they're literally dropping waypoints on the recent imagery to determine if I got a weed bite going, I'll go here. If I got a timber bite and it's all laydown based, I'll go there. And that's not something we necessarily anticipated when we started building.
No. How recent is the recent imagery?
It's every 2 weeks at a minimum. Okay. So there's a little bit of a lag time in reporting, and then also, we've got clouds and things like that.
Yep.
To like you've looked at imagery where it's just like, it's a beautiful cloud bank. That's all we got.
That's gonna help me at all. Thanks. Yep.
So that's the only thing we work around, is making sure we've got a solid image to show people. And so it's literally every 1 to 2 weeks helping you out and showing you what's been tracking. And for ice, it's helpful. I think the historical look at it's really helpful, because let's not kid ourselves. In some years, everything locks up overnight or in 3 days,
All right.
Other ice years, it comes and goes, it freezes, thaws, refreezes, and that's where it's really helpful to see the imagery too. So,
yeah. So, I mean, I get it. Vegetation, flood, water levels, but maybe not so much water clarity. After 2 weeks, that's going to change every couple of days.
It is. Yeah.
And I know we fish Lake Erie a lot. Everybody's looking at satellite imagery every night.
Yep.
To see where all that muddy water went. So
for sure. Absolutely.
Maybe it'll get there someday, and you'll get it on demand
imagery. We're already looking to solve for that problem.
Right.
That's the cool part. Like, I get to be involved in really neat discussions about, like, well, if you had an unlimited budget, what within your wildest dreams could we try to solve for? And it's like we have conversations like that, which is really cool, because I think as a fisherman, you're just always thinking, like, man, if I could only know this, well, I'd have everything in the palm of my hand,
Yeah, I mean, there's no better guy for this job than you, though. You're not just an angler and gets it and a marketing promoter guy from that aspect of it, but you got to have a background in mapping.
I do. Yeah. It was the perfect match for me. I worked at the University of Minnesota for quite a few years doing water quality mapping, a lot of stuff with LiDAR on landscapes and looking at conservation related functions. And so, yeah, and then always did fishing stuff and super serious about fishing. So I always joked I had a foot on 2 different icebergs, and sometimes those icebergs were really far away and I was doing the splits. Yep. And other times they ran closer together, but now I think I've formally hopped on a singular iceberg, at least for now. So,
yeah, definitely. You've always had your hands in a lot of things, so you and I both.
100%. I was going to say, right back at you.
It's how this industry works. But I mean, OnX is, you have resources. It's a great company full of great people, always looking, like you just said, super far ahead.
Right. Yeah.
And as I asked you before, I'm like, how can they manage to do this? But I realized, you got millions of users at this point.
Yeah, it's huge. OnX, I think of us more like Amazon or Google sometimes than even like a Rapala or a Bass Pro, because yes, we're all about the outdoors, but data is a huge part of what we do and bringing that to customers. But on the other side of it, like environmental stewardship, conservation is a huge part of what we do too. And like making sure public lands and access is open for all. Like these are important tenets as a company that we feel really strongly about supporting. So I was happy because I love the stuff I did at the U of M on conservation levels. Cool that I can kind of continue it with another company that nerds out about maps like I do.
Right. Well, I could attest to it. You won't ever go to a Fedens Forever, Western Hunt Expo, and I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
Outdoor game hunting event banquet and not see OnX Hunt represented.
Right. Right.
You know, it's whether and on the largest National Wild Turkey Federation, these things, Ben, those guys, they're there.
Oh yeah.
It's a huge resource, and they're giving back to every one of these companies, organizations, NGOs or not, and they're providing. I know they do with their South Dakota game fish. They partner up a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and it's always, hey, here's a month for free or half price, whatever.
Absolutely. North Dakota, we just partnered with those guys I think everybody that buys a fishing license qualifies for 3 free months. And, you know, the idea is to help them out too as resource managers. Like we're giving those guys free subscriptions so that they can utilize the app to help make sure that all the data that's in there is useful, it's accurate, it's up to date, it's the best that the people in their state can make use of too. We're working on the same program with South Dakota and all these other states as well. So yeah, it takes a village, man, when it comes to some of this fishing stuff. So we're happy to partner with those guys when we can.
Yeah, good partners. Great company. I've never heard anybody complain about their OnX Hunt, and the few that have the fish since it's new. I mean, you just told me a bunch of new aspects on it that I was scrolling through and already looking at, going, "Oh, I didn't know that was on there. I didn't ever hit the species thing. I know the species, and but if I go to a new lake, I'm like, oh, this makes total sense. And then right there, it gives you the gauge: less, bad, good, very good. You know, and when it was stocked, I'm like, yeah, because you go to a GFP or a DNR website. I'm sorry, but they suck not because they want to suck. Some just do, but because they have so much information and it's a bunch of analytical biologists, you know, type guys that are just more data.
Right.
And then it's crammed in, like I said, now I'm trying to download a 400-page PDF to my phone. And I just want the one page.
Right.
To find that and then being able to read it. And then it's just a bunch of acronyms that nobody knows what CPUE means, right? And what have you. So,
and even then, you've got that data for only one lake, and that was always the major drawback. I was a kid in Minnesota using that DNR lake finder that we had. Before that, we used to send out for snail mail copies of these reports, and it's one lake at a time. But if you were able to, as an angler, sort through multiple lakes based on multiple criteria, you can really put together a good game plan. And you know, it's our hope not to hotspot. We every once in a while get a question. It's like, wow, now everybody's going to be fishing those lakes. And it's like, yes and no. It's going to distribute pressure. We've seen it already. Rather than concentrate people on, man, I was out to, I think it was Ponset years ago when it was just got found. I've never seen the amount of anglers that I saw. It was insane. But what if all those anglers on Ponset that day knew that within 15 minutes there was 4 other lakes that they could have hit? Probably had similar success, if not better, because they'd have it to themselves and there'd be no pressure there. Our goal is to try to make everything accessible without focusing too much or hotspotting one lake, one area.
Yeah, and like you said, there was lakes 15 minutes away and there was lakes 1 minute away that were very, very good.
Oh, so for sure.
I think you're right, because it is, hey, we're all here because we know about it, but now you're saying we know about all of this.
Yes,
so pick and choose. And same with public land hunting, I would tell people, for one, in South Dakota, anywhere, a bird hunter, you got to have a good dog. I'd pull up to a public piece, I'd see a kid just got out of school, went and hunted, walked out. No dog, got in his car, left. I'm going to come in right behind him with the dog, not worried about it.
Yeah.
But now I pull up a place where I see 2 or 3 guys and 3 or 4 dogs. I'm like, I ain't hunting that field. They just worked it over, but let me open this up. There's another one, a mile or a half a mile.
Exactly.
I'm going to go get to the other side of that before they get there, vice versa, whatever the case is. And in South Dakota, you can kind of do that with fishing, because there's so many lakes in that glacial. In Minnesota, 10,000 lakes. You kind of got the same thing going on there. You got a lake around every corner, and a lot of them are really good.
Well, and we have found that you don't even always have to switch lakes. If you got a lake you're in love with, just find a different way into the thing. It's a big long lake
Yeah.
and the access is on one end. Find a creative way to get in on the other, and those fish see almost nobody all year long because you're a long ways, especially ice fishing wise, from the access. So there's a lot of ways to skin that cat.
Most people probably aren't looking at maps of lakes, just the regular angler
Right.
very often anymore. Tournament guys, I have, you probably can't even see it, but there's a row of paper maps because I go to every tournament. Because at night you sit in the hotel room or wherever you're at and you're breaking it all down. And there's so many times that some of those are old and outdated, but now we can use this and pull it up and be like, when it's just a quick reference, but like, I'm over here, I'm going over here, vice versa.
Right.
But you also zoom out of that and you're like, oh, there's a creek or creek, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Coming in on that in the lake that I didn't know about because we never looked at the maps, right? And you don't see some of this stuff from the water.
Right.
You're like, oh, it's early spring. I probably need to go to where that creek is feeding into the lake.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so overlooked. So now you have it. Now you're going to be able to zoom out. You're going to see things, not just new access roads or points, but you might see different elevations or bodies or creeks feeding.
More information has always made me a better angler. It can be analysis paralysis at times, where it's like you got so much to look at, you lock up a little bit. But the more you pay attention to these details, the better you get at figuring out the ones that matter more on a given time or day or season for certain species, and the better you start to put together the patterns that make sense to you as well. So I love you talking about barometer and moon phase and all this stuff, because it's just proof that these things matter, that they're worth paying attention to, and that with having that information, you're gonna catch more fish. You just will. It's just that simple.
Hands down, it's more. Those things to me are more important than seeing a contour layer.
Yeah,
I'm like, I can figure that out. Usually it gets deeper when you get further out. I'm gonna go with that. It's pretty good, pretty safe bet. But I don't know what all this stuff is happening around here. And analysis by paralysis is simple. It's kind of like lethargic by lures because we got so damn many of them, right? We already have enough decisions to make.
Yes.
And obstacles.
Yeah, I find it interesting. A lot of people think color is such a huge deal, and it can make a big difference on certain bodies of water, and so can lure classes. But yeah, the simple fact, I just keep coming back to it, is you just can't catch fish where they ain't. And beating your head against the wall trying to catch very few fish in a body of water is never as productive as going to a place where there are plenty. And if more people knew that all you had to do is take that boat, put it back on the trailer, and drive 3, 4, 5 miles, and all of a sudden your whole day has changed, people would be fishing a lot more lakes rather than just getting attached to these honey holes of theirs, right?
Right. That's the guy on Facebook was catching them over here yesterday, right? So everybody drove across the dam and saw Brian fishing over the spot today. Now there's 27 boats sitting on there this morning. So whatever. Hey, it asked for a nugget, but you just dropped it right there, and that is you can't catch fish if there isn't any there.
100%. So simple fact of nature for sure.
OnX is making it super easy. I always say the more efficient angler, the cleaner you fish, everything, the more fish you catch, period, because you spend more time fishing, less time hunting.
100%. I'm with you.
You've been doing this a long time. There's nothing new, nothing new there. But it's our job to tell everybody else out there, how do you get to these plays? How do I elevate my game to Joel Nelson level? How do I get there?
We talk to a lot of bait shop folks and resorts and, of course, guides and everything. And it's interesting because they are people that always get hit up like you, right? Yep. You're constantly hit up for information. I think this is a nice deflect for some guys like you without even deflecting. You're like, man, it's all at your fingertips. Like, just spend a little time in here and you won't know what I know and you won't know how to put the presentations together, but you'll certainly solve for at least a big part of the equation in fishing in fish-rich waters. So that's the hope and goal, is just to get people out there enjoying the sport, growing the sport, having more fun. And especially after COVID, we did lose some anglers and people found their way back to doing other things they did before they went out and bought boats and fished all the time. So
good and bad. I'm down with the less crowd, but for a guy, well, in a state that stayed open like South
Right.
Dakota. So,
Right.
and we haven't really slowed down since at all.
Well, and that's great. So we're here for the same reasons, and love the positive growth that the app has been having. It's been wild.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about this new line that Seaguar introduced this year. It's been on the market for a couple years, but it's been over in Japan. They just brought it over to the United States this year, and I absolutely love it. It's called PEX8. This is by far the thinnest diameter braid I have ever used. This is still an 8-strand braided line with such a thin diameter. It's unbelievable. I'm using an 18-pound test today, and it feels like 2 pound. You know, the advantages to this thin diameter is if it's windy out, I'm not catching much wind, I get less bow in the line. High pressure situations where the fish are, taking on a lot of fishing pressure, a thinner diameter line, less visible, of course. Current in the rivers, I'm gonna cut the current a little better, I'm gonna get better control, and they did all this without losing any of its strength. This stuff is still strong as all the Seaguar braided lines, and the sensitivity is second to none. So check this out, this PEX8 over at seaguar.com.
Just as an update, like you said, we are in Iowa now. We're officially in South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, now Iowa, and now Missouri. So we're starting to invade into the South a little bit, which is interesting because it's different down there. There's reservoirs and bass and weird species and catfish we've never heard of. And all kinds of
That's where all I got, right? That weird species down south.
Spotted bass. Isn't that just a weird little bass? I don't know.
Yep. Of course, you get up north, we have those lakes as well. There's a hell of a lot of species in some of these lakes that people aren't even aware are swimming around. So.
Man, white bass, dude, you guys got some incredible white bass fishing, and nobody wants to catch a white bass till they catch one, and they're like, that was pretty fun.
I love them. And Nebraskans love them. They chase them. They catch the hell out of them, but they're so much bigger in South Dakota. I mean, yours days, everyone's 2 to 3 pounds. They're all master anglers. You can get them in Chamberlain and Spring, Lewis and Clark now. And I'm like, when I always have a plastic or something rigged up, if I see the birds or see them hitting, I'm like, we're running over here. And once they throw a rattle trap in there, and it's every cast. And they're just like, oh, yeah, this is fun. I'm like, you want to keep any? They're like, sure. Next thing you know, I'm like, that's it, because I can't close the live well lid. These are like 15, 18-inch white bass that are they're right there with a smallie almost about how hard they fight.
And
and easy to catch.
Suicidal, like you said, you see the birds in there, and you're just like, brace yourself, man. This is going to be good.
Nebraskans are huge in Kansas. They follow the seagulls in July. Once the shad spawn,
sure,
and you'll see you out in the morning, and it'll be a football field size, a slick of just shad, and then you'll see seagulls dive bomb, and then it's just start trolling through it or throw a shiny cigarette butt on a hook. It doesn't even matter. Just throw it out there, and it's just boom, they're blowing up. Now they're not as big. I mean, they have big ones, or wipers. They got a lot of wipers down there too, the hybrid, which are really big and super fun. But people in South Dakota call them silver bass. They hate them. I don't know. They're fun to settle to catch, and they taste fine.
Yeah, they only knew. They only knew.
So, I mean, I get they're annoying. If it's the South Dakota, if it's not a perch or a walleye, it's like get it. It's a nuisance. Get it out of here. It's in my way. Because we got a lot of great pike fishing and a lot of good panfish up in those glacial lakes too. So
South Dakota is incredible. I every time I fish there, I'm always amazed. Very few people, great resources, well managed. It really is a state that it's like, man, I would love to just get a cabin here, buy a house. It's like, it's that kind of state that makes you think like, what if I've had many trips across the state, it's is it 90 that goes all the way across the south?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're driving endlessly on 90, and you're just you catch yourself an hour into a daydream about what it would look like to just buy a place and fish and hunt all day.
Well, you go through so many different terrains.
Yeah.
The southeast South Dakota, you're like, all right, whatever, ag and cities, and then you're kind of flat land, a little bit of prairie. You hit the river, and you're like, all right. And then you have some hills, and then just a ton of prairie. And then you hit badlands. You're like, what the hell is this? That just went back in time. And then you're in the Black Hills. You're like, are we in Colorado?
You're right.
Right. It's just. I don't know of any other states that's quite like that, where you have such a various one into the other. So
super diverse. I agree.
Super cool place. All right, so they can find it download the app on iOS.
Yep. They can go directly to the website and pull down a version 2. Just go to onxfish.com, and then they'll get signed up. And ultimately, to use it on your phone, you'll need to download the app. But you can do all the sign-in process online, 2 different ways. We're trying to meet you however you want to get into the app. We're trying to help you do it. So either onxfish.com or just go to the App Store and download OnX Fish.
I can kind of see it. It's the little green button. The hunt one's the red one. So that's in a different. There it is.
Yeah, and let me answer why OnX Fish and OnX Hunt are not all in the same app. We have been getting that question. Once you start clicking around in OnX Fish, and you already know from OnX Hunt, there is way too much in there. That the screen, your phone would get heavier physically. There's so much information. It would be information overload, and it would just look like somebody vomited all over the screen. We want to keep it clean. We want to keep it usable. We want to offer as much data as we can, but we're not going to make it confusing to use. So
you don't want to bog it down, and you're just getting started.
Yes.
You've still got 35 more states to go.
And there's way cool features coming up, man. So I'm excited for what's to come. It'll be a lot of fun. Not just new states, but new ways to use data that anglers are really going to appreciate.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Now I know a few more things about it, diving into the weather. What I used to love about this old app that's not around no more was the weather, the real time, the more local.
Yes.
There's apps out there that give you moon phases and stuff, but they're not. It's different in Texas than it is here.
Totally.
You can be off several hours, and sometimes they're pretty general. Just a lot of those are bass apps, so they're just located in the south.
Right.
Having it know your location and bring it real time versus having to punch in my zip code every time. And there's just so many things that OnX has got figured out, and they're so far above everybody and beyond that. These are no brainers, and these are tools to add to your toolkit, which just makes you a better angler. Like I said, you can't ever get enough information. It's what you do with it and how you use it. And if you haven't figured it out, download it for free, 7-day trial, and then you'll start getting the emails from Joel, and you're going to go to master classes, and there you go. You'll become a master of it.
It's addictive. I tell people that if you like looking at maps, or more importantly, you like studying data and you nerd out about fishing like we do, man, be careful. Your wife's going to be yelling at you. You're going to be on the couch, down a rabbit hole, got 32 lakes that you want to hit next. It gets a little spooky after a while.
I got that there at night. It's like, this is what we do. We're getting older. We're both sitting on our phones, right, while the TV's on. And I'm like, and she's scrolling through some stuff. I'm like, no, what are you scrolling at? And she's giggling. I'm like, I'm looking at maps and stuff, fishing. I'm like, that's it for an hour. Just sat there and scroll and looking and flipping. And I'm like, cool. I'm actually was bouncing. I was looking, okay, the OnX Hunt thing. I went, here's my tree stand. I saw the wind cone. Then I'm like, all right, I got that. Now I'm going to have this come up. Joel, I got to research my OnX Fish app a little more. And then I just total rabbit hole. It was at least an hour. I was just looking at all the little glacier lakes, seeing which ones were mapped. I'm like, wow, all right, that's a lot of stuff. And it's just going to get better. That's all OnX does is it just gets better. So
I'm excited for what's to come. It'll be a blast. And Hunt, I use Hunt all the time too. I use it for turkey hunting and morel hunting and deer around here. So I was a fan before I was ever part of the company. It's been a cool ride so far.
You were hooked before you knew it. And a lot of guys use it for mushroom hunting. I know I've heard that a ton. I'm like, it's probably going to get OnX mushroom or something coming up.
Yeah, that's what we need next.
Right. Who knows? It's getting heavy. Like I said, the asparagus thing, it's OnX wildflowers or what have you.
Right.
It's happening. So
100%.
if anybody can do it, OnX good. So
I love it.
They're on the spot, OnX. So, all right. Well, awesome stuff, folks. Check it out. Joel told you where it's all at. I'll drop some links here below, send you right to the website to get it. Worth every penny. Check it out. Download the free test ride, whatever you want to call it, 7 days. It doesn't matter. You're gonna purchase it from there. So it's a no-brainer. You want to be as good as Joel is out there on that ice catching fish, you're gonna need to get your OnX fish so you know where you're going to the right place to fish. You can't catch them if there isn't any there.
100%.
100%. Right on. All right, Joel, thank you for coming on and giving us the breakdown and the updates of the OnX fish. Look forward to seeing you soon. Hopefully, tight lines out there on the ice this winter. and hopefully you get some time to go break some ice.
That's right.
And get those boys out.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, we'll be drilling when it's safe. I'm looking forward to it.
At least some break over the holidays here, I imagine. OnX is probably going to let you go do a little fishing because it's always research. I got to go, guys. I got research to do, right?
This is a work thing, guys. This is a work thing.
It's always a work thing. So, all righty. Thank you, Joel, and thank all you for tuning in. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the ice.
Appreciate it. Thanks.